Because this Nigeria you see, if you've ever been to Nigeria, you see all this, anything, trust me, this will be the giant. It's a giant now. Studio, then we put people in there. You get paid to come. One with their men of God, lie, help the men of God lie, and then post it. Thank God for you. You're very clever. What did I not tell them about Nigeria? What did I say about Nigeria? I said, if these people were told a different story, I don't know. They said PeterObi is going to be the president, right? What did I say? I didn't see it. I didn't know. You see, I made you shout 3 times. That has nothing to do with do I support that person or I don't. I'm just telling you the outcome of an election. Don't hate the player. Hate the game. No. Look, do I want PeterObi? 100%. Why do I want? That's a Christian. For God's sake, we need Christians that are crossover leaders. We need Christians in positions of power. And Christians, you should pray for that man. Continuously pray for PeterObi. Pray. Because this Nigeria you see, if you've ever been to Nigeria, you see all this, anything, trust me, this will be the giant. It's a giant now, but it will be a giant not only in Africa, but the world will say, wait a minute. And the Lord ministered to me way back when I spoke about Nigeria and the rising power in Christianity, in Christendom. When I said, I'm going to clean out every stigma attached to my people in Nigeria. And I will use Nigeria to go out into the nations. Not just to spread spirituality, but even technology, oil, resources. And I told you before that I am Zimbabwean, but I know what God told me about Nigeria. Are you getting this? So all this stigma that is attached to it, this person, Nigeria is like this, Nigerians are like this. God said, I'm going to clean it out in one moment, in one swoop, that people will forget it has ever been said about Nigeria. What you shall know about Nigeria is not what people talk about. People think 419, people this, crooks and stuff like that. All this, what the world has said, as if all Nigerians are like that. You need to understand Nigeria is a big country with many millions. So if out of those millions we have 20,000 people who do that, people, guess what? People will say Nigerians are like that. So I said, that stigma, it will not take me a day to remove it. And generals are rising out of Nigeria like you've never seen. Generals in the kingdom. You might look at a young apostle, you might look at a young pastor, but wait, 3 years from now, these will be the fathers of nations. Same people you look down upon now. My power is to talk about what God has given me, not how you like me to say it. So when I said PeterObi was not winning, it wasn't an issue of how was he not winning. And people took an issue with me when I said he is not popular in the ballot box. They took an issue like, no, he was popular there. Listen to me. I did not say anything. I said what God told me. Now, is a man popular? Let's just say, let's assume, my brother, that somebody stole the votes. Where did they steal the votes from? From the ballot box. So was he popular in the ballot box? Why? Because they stole the votes, eh? So the statement still remains. He's still not popular in the ballot box. The reasons I don't know. They said, no, he was popular. They stole it. Stole what? So if they stole the votes from the ballot box, he was not popular in the ballot box. Why? Because they took the votes. You see, our culture is always to oppose a man who is going against what we believe and what we want. Instead of saying, wait a minute, what do you mean when you say this? And they think I was supporting the other guy. I don't care. I just support what God supports. And of course, God said, my choice is Obi. He said it. So why would I like the other one? I just go for this one that God said he likes. But then God said, but this one is going to be announced the winner. Now people say he is not going to be inaugurated. I don't know that part. I only saw up to this one. Let another one who has seen beyond me be able to what? To speak. If you leave me with my what God has shown me, I just see this guy becoming the president. But if you saw something, speak out. I will receive you too. And then we wait for what? For Obi. If he becomes president, thank God. I don't have a problem. Now the person I actually wanted has become the president due to your prophecy. If he doesn't, thank God. God showed me. I said, no, people are fighting. No, it's not him. You are evil. Whatever you saw, we agree with it. Let's wait for inauguration. If it doesn't happen, let's all thank God, because what God wanted has taken place. But let me tell you this truth. We enact God's will. It doesn't just happen. We are the ones who make it happen. So if you stand and just relax, you can't. You enact God's will. You put it in operation. No, God will just do it if he wants. No, we do it. So I appreciate everyone who is raising their voice in Nigeria for whatever they like to see. They're raising their voice. Thank God. At least you know what God wants for you as a nation. Go for that. But as for what God showed me, he showed me one person emerging as the winner, and it has already happened. My part is done and the fulfillment has taken place. Now we're waiting for your part. So I'll come back after Ephata and give you international prophecy.
Beloved, welcome back to our YouTube channel, and I believe you heard everything that the prophet of God has to say concerning our nation, Nigeria, Prophet Uebert Angel. This is the reality on ground. Yes, before 2023 general election, a lot of prophecy was given. Some people said that PeterObi will be the president of Nigeria, and some said Atiku will be the president of Nigeria. Some people said that Tinubu will be the president of Nigeria. The same different prophecy, but coming from the same God. That is the kind of confusion we had during 2023 election, and I think the same thing will still happen in 2023 election, because some people have started dropping prophecy already who is going to be the president of Nigeria in 2027. Like with this prophecy, I want to say something. Like I did the prophecy and I put it on this channel. You can go back and check on it. And he said that in Nigeria, there are two forces that control the affairs of the country. The first is the spiritual one. There is somebody who controls the affairs of the nation, Nigeria, spiritually. And secondly is the physical force. There are people who control the affairs of nation Nigeria physically. So, is the will of God and the will of people in 2023 that PeterObi will be the president of Nigeria? Why am I saying this? Because if you listen to what the prophet said, he gave exactly what the person said. Is the will of God God wants him to be the president of Nigeria. The people really want him to be the president of Nigeria. God, spiritually, is the one in charge of what is happening in our nation, Nigeria. But physically, as I earlier said, there are people who control the affairs of the nation physically. So they made their own decision and they gave us someone who is now the president, acclaimed himself. And look at where we find ourselves today. Look at where we find ourselves today. It's the will of God for PeterObi. It's the will of people for PeterObi to be the president. But, there are people who control the affairs of the nation. There are people who don't want the growth of the nation. There are people who are always there to deceive the people. And that is why people complain that our election will never count, because these people will continue stealing our future. These people will continue destroying our future. They said a good leader think about the future generation, but do we have those leaders that really think about the future of the country? We really need to pray in this country called Nigeria. If not, yes, we have been praying. Yes, we have been doing a lot of things. And I don't know, back then, some men of God in this country, Nigeria, will come out and challenge the authority. And they will tell them with their faces that what you people are doing is bad. But today, 2 years of this administration, which is not the will of God for the people, and which is not even the will of the people for them, nobody can complain. The men of God are not even saying anything again. People are being by every day in Nigeria. Back then, they want to remove fuel subsidy. They came out and protested. They want to do this. They came out. They said this, they that. Now, the worst is happening. The so-called men of God are not doing anything to help the ordinary Nigerians. If God truly calls you, why don't you speak to the authority? That is where we find ourselves today. We really need the help of God in our nation, Nigeria. And we are not even expecting God to come from heaven to come and change everything for us. No. God cannot do that for us. It's left for you as human being to change the narrative, to bring down the intention of God to happen in this life. Please let us try and help ourselves in this country. If not, if you continue like this, the end will be nothing to write home about. Please make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video, and pray for God's intervention in our country, Nigeria. I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.